Update time. There has not been a lot of very obvious activity here recently. I've also been kind of preoccupied with a couple other projects, some other things. Now, I have talked about on a live, and I mentioned it on Facebook, how things are about to change drastically around here, unfortunately. They're about to build a huge facility very close to where I live. They're going to be clearing out several acres and putting up a big industrial plant that's going to be running 24 hours a day. Now, it's not going to be directly behind me, but they're going to be clearing enough property, and it's going to be big enough and loud enough, and there's going to be a ton of people around there for a very long time. So it's going to affect me drastically in a couple of different ways. Number one, it's probably going to really hurt my property value. So we've got some big decisions to make here. This was supposed to be the house we died in. I don't know if that's going to be, I don't know if we're going to be able to do that or not. So we're going to see. And I really think, honestly, it's going to hurt a lot of the activity that we have around here. Now, they still have plenty of area to go to. They just got to fall back a little bit. I've actually found where they were at during the day a couple years ago and had activity during the daytime, very obvious activity. Had something very large jump out of a tree as I stopped to look at a rock stack in the same area where I had a stick thrown at me during the daytime, which just happens to be about 30 yards away from where I got the road crossing video of what I believe to be a really big one crossing the road behind me at 175 yards. So I found them before. So hopefully I'll be able to do it again, but it's probably going to affect the activity I have around here. I don't know how much time I have. A whole bunch of us were trying to fight it because this is supposed to be a residential area. But when you have board members that are going to financially benefit, that actually have to recuse themselves from the vote because they own a company that's going to directly profit from it. God, I wish I would have recorded the whole thing. The entire thing is so corrupt and ridiculous that, it just absolutely... We don't have a chance against a multi-billion-dollar corporation. And that's part of the reason why I've done what I've done over the years, why I've been so involved, why I thought this need to take advantage of the activity that I was experiencing. A lot of people don't get this opportunity, and I wanted to take full advantage of it. If you think about it, if somebody, anybody, me, somebody else, it didn't matter who, could prove that these things exist, there's no way that they would get away with building a facility like this so close to a massive wildlife management area in an area where I know they've at least been here for 8 years. They've probably been here a lot longer. We found out at the Happy Place, those creatures have been there for over 30 years. So I'm going to be diving in headfirst, putting a lot of time and effort into my own property, as if I don't already do that. But we're not going to be doing the podcast anytime soon. I know Captain Joe is, he is preoccupied with, the VGA. It's growing. He's super busy. He travels a lot. So it's kind of time to take a step back, It doesn't mean that we still have several people on the field research side of things. In fact, we are about to go out in the field a little over a week from now. We're trying to plan a trip up in North Georgia. So that's good. But I want to show you guys a new kind of experimental setup I did with a camera and a mirror, and we will see how that works out. But that's the update. Now, I don't think that I really don't see having a lot of activity over the next month or two. Usually during the weather extremes, like when it's super hot near the end of summer or super cold near the end of winter, that's when the activity dies down. So I don't foresee a lot of activity coming up, but who knows? I don't know if they've already left, or really what their schedule is going to be like. Obviously, you know, I don't know if they migrate. I did a video the other day showing how, if they do migrate, why they would come to my specific area. You know, it's kind of a, I called it a land bridge. Somebody else called it a wildlife corridor between the Chattahoochee National Forest all the way, which is up in North Georgia, all the way down to the Talladega National Forest in Alabama. The surrounding wildlife management areas around my property and all the rural areas are right slap dab in the middle of that. So it would make sense that if they are traveling, you know, during these season changes, that's why they're here when the weather is kind of moderate. But I don't know that for sure. Anyway, here's my setup. Pretty basic. It's just the camera, the PTZ, Waze PTZ camera looking into a mirror. And I've got it blocked off inside of a plastic container. That way it doesn't turn back and forth because it'll follow motion. I want it focused on that mirror. So we're going to test it out and see what happens. If nothing else, maybe we can get some audio from it. I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good one. All right, give you an idea of what I'm dealing with. That's the back of my property where the chicken coop is. Back deck, where you see sunlight right in there, or the sky. That's about where they're going to start clearing from, going back that way. So it's going to be close, unfortunately. But hopefully it doesn't go too far this way, which I don't think it will. And maybe the only saving grace. But we will see. All right, here's what the setup looks like from the other side. House is up there. See what happens.